I have a confession to make. I don't always remember all the books I read. Hello and welcome back to Bookish, and welcome to a video which the idea just came to me the other day when I was thinking about books in the past, books I've read, and how well I remember them. This is kind of a part of, I think, came out of the same idea of, reading in depth video and my video about hard books you don't have to read. And I went to my shelves and I looked at the books on my shelves and I thought, what are the 5 books here that I remember the least? And when I say remember the least, I mean I don't remember anything about them, even though I know I've read them. These aren't books on my shelves that I haven't read. These are books that I know I've read and I remember nothing about. So the first book on that list I want to mention is this book called Company by Samuel Beckett. This is the first Beckett I ever read. Before I read, what is it, Malloy, I believe, is the other Beckett I've read. And I had no memory of it whatsoever until I opened the cover flap and I read a little bit where it says, Company is the recent prose work of Nobel Prize winning author of Waiting for Godot and Endgame and other great works of the past of the post-World War II era. In Company, a man lying on his back in the darkness in an enclosed room hears a voice speaking to him or to some other being. That's what I remember, that there was a disembodied voice talking to somebody, and now, having had my memory jogged, I remember I didn't understand anything about that book, and probably not the right Beckett to start off with. The second book on my list of books I read and don't remember at all is A Theft by Saul Bellow. In the early 90s, I think, maybe late 80s, Bellow, who was, one of the people who's considered a part of the group we call mid-century misogynists, which is not always entirely fair, I don't think, wrote a number of short books. There was the Bella Rosa Connection, and this one, A Theft, and I think there was one more. And I know I read A Theft, and I remember nothing about it until I read the back blurb. Let's see, blonde, big-boned, handsome, and always well-dressed, Clara Velde is a corporate executive specializing in women's fashions. She is part native farm girl and part sophisticated New Yorker. Her fourth husband, Wilder Velde, with whom Clara is currently living, taxes her patience. Clara has always loved the high-powered and well-known Ithiel Teddy Regler, Washington. Anyway, so it's apparently a book about a woman who is a fashion executive. That doesn't bode well based on what I know about mid-century misogynists. Another book on that list is The Thanos Syndrome by Walker Percy. Walker Percy is the author of The Moviegoer, which is a really, I think, great and underappreciated American novel. I read that one and I thought I'm going to read more Walker Percy. I remember that. And then I bought this book, and I know I read it, and I remember nothing about it until I read, again, the blurb on the back. It says, when Dr. Tom Moore is released on parole from state prison, he returns to Feliciana, Louisiana, the parish where he was born and bred, where he practiced psychiatry before his arrest. He immediately noticed something strange in almost everyone around him, unusual sexual behavior in women, patients, and a bizarre loss of inhibition, his own wife's extraordinary success at bridge tournaments, during which her mind seems to function like a computer. No idea. Even having read that, I have no memory of that book. Probably most disappointingly, since it's a hardback book, is this book by Larry McMurtry, Anything for Billy. I think it has something to do with Billy the Kid, but I haven't read the flap yet. Let's see. Billy Kid's puzzled, erratic, and purposeless journey through the real West into Western myth. Billy kills when he does, mostly because he or other fellow is in the wrong place at the wrong time, because Billy can't think of anything else to do, is the subject of a novel as rich, as firmly centered in time and place, as exciting as McMurtry's Pulitzer Prize-winning Lonesome Dove. No, it isn't. I don't remember it, but there's no way it's as good as Lonesome Dove. And the final book on my list of novels I know I've read, but don't remember, is Richard Ford's Independence Day. Richard Ford got into some controversy. There's a bad blood between he and Colson Whitehead, which Whitehead claims that Richard Ford spit on him at one point. But to read the back of this and keep up, in this visionary sequel to the sports writer, Richard Ford deepens his portrait of one of the most unforgettable characters in American fiction, and in so doing gives us an indelible portrait of America. Frank Bascom, in the aftermath of his divorce and the ruin of his career, has entered an existence period selling real estate in Haddam, New Jersey, and mastering the high wire act of normalcy. But over one 4th of July weekend, Frank is called into sudden, bewildering engagement with life. No idea. I don't remember anything about that book, and it's one I've read. This video is all based on the idea that we sometimes read books that were forgettable to us for whatever reason. Look forward to you leaving me a list of books in the comment section below that you don't remember at all. And as always, look forward to your comments. Thank you for watching.